consequences on the region and beyond.
OK. Saeed, thank you very much indeed. Saeed Shahata there. Well, let's bring in now Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley, former US Ambassador and non-resident Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council. Gina, lovely to talk to you again. We were just discussing there this UN Security Council meeting tonight. What are your hopes?
Well, the hopes are not high. The Security Council has shown itself over the last 11 months not to be effective at bringing about a ceasefire. There have been resolutions put forward, vetoed, of course, by the United States, and further along, abstain, but none of them have brought about what the international community, and indeed the United States, has been hoping for and working for, which is a ceasefire of this conflict.
So what will be effective then, Gina? This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, President Biden keeps saying we have a plan. Of course, he is desperate for this to come to an end before the election in the US, at least.
Indeed, he has been working toward this assiduously for the last 11 months. I've lost count of how many trips the Secretary of State has taken to the region, met with other negotiators from the Gulf, from Egypt, etc. But the bottom line is the leaders have to be willing to enter into the ceasefire. And the requirements for that to be held, so far, the Prime Minister of Israel has not bitten. He has not agreed. He has changed, moved the goalpost within those negotiations. Yahya Sinwar, the head of Hamas, has not agreed. And of course, that is what Hezbollah, Iran, the Houthis, etc., have all said. A ceasefire in Gaza is necessary to stop the conflict with Israel. Israel has ramped it up. The pressure on Lebanon is increasingly intense. I have personal memories of the conflict in 2006. It was devastating for Lebanon, but it was also terrible for Israel. And the Israeli economy is already suffering from the last 11 months, let alone the hostages.
Do you think, realistically, it's about changes in leadership if we're going to really see any progress here? Because the current leadership on all sides seems to be set on the conflict.
Certainly, we have not found a way to pierce the barriers to a ceasefire. The Knesset returns in November. The pressures on the Prime Minister to get to a ceasefire may shift then. They may not right now. It's to his right that keeps him in power, and they do not have an interest in a ceasefire. The devastation in the Gaza Strip may add additional pressure on Hamas. It remains to be seen. And of course, the U.S. elections are in less than 2 months, and that will, of course, change the calculation and the likely policy coming out of an American leader.
OK. Gina, as ever, we appreciate your time. Thank you for talking to us again on BBC News. Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley.